my girl. I'm sorry. I don't every week.
No, you good. Hold on, you cutting up a bit. I don't know if that's me or you. Hold on.
What?
Am I coming through smooth?
No, you smooth. Hey, everybody in chat, let me know if I'm coming through smooth. Hope I ain't chopping up for y'all.
Okay, it seemed like it's settled now. It seemed like it's settled. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to look at.
Dang, I hope it's not chopping up. But yeah, I got my girl Star in the building with me. How you doing tonight, sis?
We doing good. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on X, Twitter, YouTube. Well,
yes.
X, YouTube, Facebook. I think I'm going live on all those platforms.
Yeah.
I'm going live on Instagram, but
did you connect your channels?
Yeah, I got all my channels connected.
Okay, because it's not in the top corner.
You're not seeing it?
Mm-mm.
It say all my channels are connected, and I'm streaming on it right now. I know for sure I'm streaming on YouTube, Instagram, but the way Instagram's set up, I'm gonna have to get off of it because our screens look weird. I think you can only go live on Instagram.
Yeah, like with a portrait, like the portrait instead of landscape.
Yeah, because you see how it looks. Both of our faces is cut off, so I'm
like right in the middle. Dang.
I don't know how to fix that. Sorry, Instagram, love you, but I don't have to cut it out because it just looks weird. I'm gonna try to figure out if there's a way I can do it though in the future.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's up, guys? Please.
Yeah, give us a like, give us a share.
Please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channels, please. Mickey and I are both trying to grow our channels. What's up, Key? Glad to see you. But Mickey and I are both trying to grow our channels. I think we both have surpassed the 200 mark, but of course we want to get our voices out to way bigger audiences, and would love to, finally reach that pinnacle of 1,000. But I know we got a ways away from that. So y'all could just help us grow our channel. We really are working hard to add in different graphics and audio and all this stuff for the show. And as
you guys can see, Star stay up, keeping her camera upgraded. She's shining, her skin is just glowing on the camera over there. Y'all can see it.
We trying to do our best. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure I'm going live on everything.
Yeah. But she checks it out. Like she said, everybody can just give us a like, give us a share. If this is on Twitter, give us a retweet. Just like she said, we're just trying to grow our voices, trying to get our voices out there. The football season, although it is still the off season, it's slowly starting to get, going a little bit. As you guys know, we just had the draft this past weekend. All 32 organizations were able to go out there. Hopefully get all the players they wanted to get. And as you guys, were able to witness, the Cowboys went out there and got some players that they wanted to get away. What's up, Dwayne Brown?
What's up, Dwayne? Glad to see you.
Yes, very happy to see you guys in the chat this evening. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah. How you feeling, sis? I mean, draft just passed. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about last week before we actually, came upon it. We were excited to be able to talk about this finally. And as you know, as you always are, seeing you've been active on Twitter. Getting your thoughts out there. And I'm always looking at your tweets, Star. Getting off work, just trying to catch up. And I love seeing your thoughts.
You cut out a little bit there.
I just love your take.
I can hear you, but it kind of okay. It seems like it's settled down. Okay, anyway.
No, I'm just saying. I really appreciate your voice and your opinion on what you what you put out there on these guys that we recently got over this past weekend. And like I said, your thoughts are just always one of those ones that are seeing. So just overall thoughts, before we jump, too specific into the guys we picked up. What's your overall thoughts so far on the guys?
Yeah, I think overall, I personally did like what we did in the draft, and I do think that one key point. What's up, J Money, Nisi? One key thing that I think the fan base missed. Well, I'll say this first. I got lucky because 2 of my top 2 pet cats got drafted.
Yes, talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, brag yourself a little bit. Go ahead.
Last week, Cooper BB, Maris Leah Fowl. I said both of those names last week when we were talking about our pet cats.
Right.
And for us to pick those two, I said that killed the draft for me. So, but overall, I felt good. I felt pretty good about what we were able to accomplish in the draft, because the Cowboys, I don't know if they listen to Star or what, but the Cowboys did exactly what I wanted them to do. I've been saying for the past 2 seasons, we need to go younger on the offensive line.
Right.
Shout out, I love you, Tyron Smith, love you, Zach Martin, but it's time. We need to get younger. It's time to rebuild this offensive line.
Yeah, and they went in on the O-line since they went in this year.
Exactly. They went in on the O-line. So that is what really brings me joy, because this is something that I have been wanting. I've been wanting this for us. I did not want to bring Tyron back. If they decided today to trade Zach Martin, I say, thank you, Zach Martin, for everything you've done for us. I love you.
Yes.
Slide on in, TJ Bass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just how I feel personally. So we addressed the offensive line. We got younger.
Right.
Then you look at now the second round pick. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't expect them to go edge that high, and I didn't do any review of Nealon. But apparently, this is a guy who killed the Senior Bowl. Then he pretty much killed the Combine and was very hard. What's up, Johnny on X? Thank you, brother. He's very high. People like Dan, all the draft experts, Dane Brugler and the Mel Kipers and stuff, they had him graded pretty high. So, just because I didn't know him, I was a little bit like, what the hell? But then when I actually looked into him and the film, did the research and stuff like that, that's a very good pick. And Mickey, what have I been saying about, what have I been saying about Sam Williams?
Exactly. And that's crazy you said it. It's insane you said it, because earlier I listened, I think, Hanging with the Boys, and they made that exact same point as you made. They said, hey, we do have this kid, but we kind of living on some hopeism right now, you know what I'm saying? Or hopium. Actually, hopium, they actually called it, because we still don't know what this guy's capable of. We don't know, and it's kind of both sides, I'm saying, he didn't have that many opportunities to get in the field. Granted, we do know Parsons, D-Law in front of him. Last year we did still have Armstrong, Fowler, those guys who left. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have that much opportunity on that side. But at the same time, when he did see the field, even on special teams, something as, and special teams is in no way small, but just something as introductory as special teams, and you're still making some of those kind of mistakes.
Key mistakes all throughout
the kicker
in critical moments.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I put part of that or a lot of that on Bones Fossil, because as his coach, he knew that he was blowing opportunities in big games in the season.
Exactly.
So I don't know why you would trust him going into the playoffs. I don't really get that. Yeah. But
at the same time, at the same time, and even the fans knew it, but the coaches had to know he's so anxious to get on the field. He's so anxious to get out there and make a play. Sometimes that can kind of take over. That can kind of take over the mental aspect of it, to where he's just so anxious. You're trying to make something happen, and you end up making a mistake.
Exactly, and that's what I think. And we kind of stacked. I want to see if I can go live on Instagram again. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yeah, no, just like we're talking about with Sam Williams, we love having him, and maybe have some other picks that we're excited about. That some people may look at some of these picks that we just picked up as depth pieces, but just saying, we don't know what all these guys look like. All these guys are young, coming in. They're going to get the chance to be able to get on the field, get these opportunities in training camp, because as Star mentioned last week, just that hunger between these young guys are really going to start to build now. Just going just a little bit further with the picks, we picked up another wide receiver, just to add to the wide receiver room. We did pick up another edge, like we just mentioned with Nealon, but, also having Fehoko from last year. We still have to see him and see what they decide to do with him, where they decide to move him, because last year during training camp, we did see him kind of inside and on the outside, just, they're just trying to see what he could be familiar with. So in the preseason, we did see a little bit of him, but unfortunately in the regular season, we didn't get to see much. So there's going to be some competition there as well. And also this, like they said, they went in with the O-line. So what really caught me by surprise is actually them picking up another tackle late, I think it was 6th round pick. A fifth round pick.
Yeah, he was a seventh round pick.
Seventh round pick. Nathan Thomas. Just picking up another
Nathan Thomas. Right.
Yeah. That kind
and
of
I think, right. And I think when it came to Sam Slam Williams, now I want everybody to understand me clearly that I think Sam Williams is a phenomenal talent. It's not his talent that is the issue. It's the mental part. It's the mental part, right? You know, he's a little bit of a hothead, rough rider, has gotten into off-field issues, right? And then on top of that, then he was having, what's up, Choctaw? Then on top of that, he was having the on-field issues as well, as Mickey just said, with the penalties, right?
Right.
And doing stuff like when you get on the field, not setting the edge, you know, certain things that he was not accomplishing for whatever reason. It could be, he's antsy. It could be he's just not focused. But I did not want to go into the season. I've seen his workout videos, and I'm glad that he's working. But I did not want to go into the season depending on Sam Williams. And I want, you know, us to think about if they took an edge that high. Like, yes, D-Law is leaving, so he can, Marshawn Nealon can slide into D-Law's place when he leaves. But also, picking the edge that high to me means that Micah will likely be playing more off ball, probably more balanced and off with him playing edge and linebacker like he did his rookie year. And so in order for that, you're going to need another pass rusher because, again, if something happens with Sam Williams, who else do you got? D-Law is not really a pass rusher anymore, right? Like, he's going to get you a couple of sacks, but he's not really a big-time sack guy. You know, he can get you some pressures, right? He gets pressure. You know, maybe he can get a QB hit, but as far as cashing in and getting sacks, you don't have anyone else. When it comes to being a run-stopping demon, the only person that you really have is D-Law. You don't have anyone else. You know, so this kid that we picked, Marshawn Nealon, he was like the best in the country in college edge as far as stopping the run. So when you look at the whole total pick and not just, I didn't have him on my board, you can see what the Cowboys were trying to do and you say, okay, that was a good decision, right? And then you go into the BB and Maris and, you know, the rest of the picks and stuff like that, where you could clearly see as well that the goal is for a lot of for the past 2 to 3 seasons, I think we have been saying we want to get meaner, right? We want to get meaner. And the thing is, we had some people that had the mentality, some, but not all. A lot of people on the defense, when it was time for the rubber to meet the road, when it was time to rise to the occasion, they folded. They didn't look too good. You know, what's up, Tyrone? Glad to see you.
Hey, Tyrone, how you doing, man?
Look too good. So you're trying to say, okay, I need somebody that's going to hustle every single play, that wants to terrorize people. So when you add in a Marshawn Nealon, when you add in a Kalen Carson, you add in a Maris Liufau, all of those 3 players that I just named have the same identity. Even the offensive linemen, like, these are guys that are aggressive, that love football. They love football.
Right.
And, you know,
they love playing. They love attacking. They love attacking at the point of the ball. They love being.
They love
Well, you heard BB's play style being violent. Like, for your word choice, your first word choice to be violence. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
violent, aggressive. That's what we need. We need hustle.
Right.
We need guys who hustle. Guys who want to win. Guys who are ready to lay it out on the line.
Yes.
That's something that we
that mindset. That mindset, sis.
Right? But we also need those who have the capability, because you have those like Tyler Biotish. Tyler Biotish had the well, especially this past year.
Yeah.
Had the dog mindset and everything, but he didn't have the physical capability.
Right.
And so,
and look at just to piggyback off of that, look at the position. Like, and they said the reason they got BB was because we were going up against the Giants. Is it the other D-Law, Dexter Lawrence, the guys that they have over here? You know what I'm saying? Those big boys.
They got Brian Burns now. Then you look at Philly, obviously Carter, Cox.
Exactly.
You look at Washington. You know, Payne, Allen. They just added Drazon Newton. So it's very important for you to have a strong interior, right? Because a quarterback, if he has pocket presence like that, they can deal with tackles getting beat, right? Because you can step up to the pocket, you can avoid it and do all that stuff. But if you're constantly getting pressure up the middle, where is there for me to avoid? You understand what I'm saying? If I try to run out too, then you could be putting yourself in the harm's way of, getting tackled by the edge rusher, right? Because you can run into a sack. So I think what we did and what we've seen is that we're trying to get bigger. We're trying to get more physical, right? We're trying to look at our running game with the we were all mad they didn't get running backs, but it's like, well, look at the running backs they had. We brought back Zeke, right? Who is what? This is a power back who has a little bit of finesse to him still, right? I put film on X. Y'all can go and see. I posted a whole game of film from Zeke playing the Broncos this past season, so y'all can go look at that. It's on my X, but my X page. But then you add in Royce Freeman, who I thought was a camp body, but then when you look at Royce Freeman, you're like, hey, this kid is actually good. He just hasn't really had these opportunities.
Exactly.
So you have to look at these things. Then we have a fullback, which we haven't really had a fullback since 2016. When we had, I think his name was Jermaine Olawale. So we're just we're trying to become a dominant physical football team. No, I don't think we're going to go Titans, Titans or, I would say Titan, where it's like strictly like pure run. Because obviously we have Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. But I think when we get to the playoffs and when things get hard and when Dak starts slow or, Mike is nutting up because he's a little bit nervous, we can have something to rely on.
Right, because we didn't have it to fall back on. Exactly. Because with just the certain pieces we had last year, Steele and Pollard both coming off injuries. That's starting off. So like you mentioned with Beyonders not having the physicality to be able to handle that middle run game, that definitely had an effect, especially with the way that the run scheme that they're going, they're trying to force Tony up the middle, which wasn't working because of the domino effect of Beyonders not being able to handle those guys in the middle. So and just like you said, like and those are some of my thoughts. The ones you just kind of echoed. I just want to kind of echo what you said about the run game. You know what I'm saying? My first thought was, at first bringing back Zeke was really, I'm not going to say it doesn't mean anything for me, but I'm happy to see him again. Definitely good to see the reunion with him and Dak and actually having that kind of mentality. Like we talked about before, having that veteran mentality to be able to teach the rest of the room what they need to know in certain moments. But like I will say, I still wish, and I know that, and having been able to take a deep dive in some of the undrafted free agents we did pick up, but I did see that we did pick up Nathaniel Pete, as far as undrafted. But I really still would have liked to see us. I will say, just in my opinion, I would like to see us pick up running back just because, and I know we did pick up Deuce last year. And that's another thing we talked about earlier. Just the picks that we had picked up last year that we haven't really seen, what they can do yet. So I am still looking forward to what Lipke and Deuce can do for us, especially with seeing that, learning that Cooper and Deuce, did play together before, which I wasn't aware before. So now seeing that they may have just a little bit of chemistry, not saying it's going to be, make or break or anything like that, but just, these little things matter. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the chemistry. When we talk about the chemistry with the O-line, them being able to build chemistry and actually them having this much amount of time before training camp. Like we
see this amount of time before training camp.
Exactly.
And you think of people like who, another reason why it was good for us to move on from Tyron. Tyron couldn't practice. And that's good. That's fine for Tyron because he's Hall of Famer All-Pro. But you're messing up our synergy of the line because you cannot practice. And then on top of that, there's just certain concepts we can't run or we don't want to run because we don't want you on the ground. We don't want you dirting people because we're afraid you're going to get hurt.
Exactly.
Like at some point in time, if we want to establish the identity, Tyron's great at pass pro. Not going to say he's not. Obviously, he was an all-pro this year, right?
Right.
But we have to be able to dominate on the ground as well as dominate in the air. When you look at somebody like Brian Schottenheimer, he is a power run scheme type of coordinator. Same thing with Mike Solari. They have big guys who can push you off the ball. They run a committee of running backs who are going to punish you and then punish you again. And that's what we got in our committee of running backs. And then also you sprinkle in a change of pace like Deuce. You can sprinkle in another change of pace if you want to get Cam Akers or whatever, somebody who's a home run hitter. Could be the Nathaniel Pete guy. But you need somebody to come in. What we need to be able to establish dominance and stop getting bullied, because that's what's happening in these big games. We're getting bullied. We're getting just flat out bullied.
On both sides of the ball, like you mentioned, we were just talking about the defense kind of getting handled by some of these offensive lines, like on vice versa. Like you talk about Biotis not having the physicality maybe handle something. We had Terrence Steele coming off an injury. We had Zach Martin who wasn't hurt, but he did miss training camp and he was a little bit older. We had Tyler switching to
his training camp, got hurt.
Exactly. We had Tyler switching back to guard from playing, left tackle the year before. So honestly, if we look at it, we had all, like you mentioned, Tyler Smith not being able to practice, being able to be there. And then at left tackle, we had Austin Richards coming in when he could, Chuli Noah coming in. So we really, and then of course the young guys being able to step up when we did have those injuries, during the season. So we can honestly say we never really had that true chemistry really at all,
Right. We never were able to establish it. Think about this. This is something I was thinking about. For the past 3 years that we've gone to playoffs, we've had our starting offensive line all 3 of those times, and it's been terrible.
Yep.
It's not been good.
Right.
It hasn't been good. Besides, this past year, I think we were better at pass blocking in the playoffs, but we were still not good on the ground.
Right.
When your starting offensive line, when you have your starting offensive line in the playoffs and you can't perform well, that tells you there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the personnel that you have. There's no reason why you should have all 5 of your starters and we're not playing well.
Absolutely.
So that's been an issue, and I'm glad we finally rectified it. I'm glad we finally are seeing like it's just like a phase out. That's how I feel like Mike McCarthy has done it. Like he's slowly but surely he's phasing the Jason Garrett era out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not that Tyron is bad. Tyron is an all-pro. It ain't that Zach Martin is bad. He's an all-pro Hall of Famer. We know these things, but at a certain point in time, and Zach Martin could return to form because maybe he really was hurt so bad all throughout the season. That's why he wasn't good. But I do know he wasn't hurt in 2022, and he still was not the Zach Martin of old. So we'll see how it goes. All I know is that we really did get physical and bigger up front, and that shows you the type of identity that we want. And I will say to people as well, I broke this down on my channel last offseason. People say, oh, Mike McCarthy's not a guy who wants to run the ball. Mike McCarthy is a West Coast coach. Do you know what West Coast is? West Coast concept. There's 2 different concepts. There's West Coast. There's Air Coryell. Air Coryell is a scheme where it is predicated on you use the run to set up the pass. Play action pass. It's not about completions. It's about running. Then you can fool the defense because the defense is sucked in. You take your deep shots. That's Air Coryell offense. That's kind of what we were running when we were running with Kellen Moore. Now we have Broughton Schottenheimer and Mike McCarthy. West Coast, you pass the ball to set up the run, right? So it's just a different concept. So yes, we will pass the ball more than we run, but we still are going to be a balanced team. That's what Mike has always preached. He's never said that we just going to be a strictly run team where we're going to have our all-pro quarterback throwing the ball 10 times a game. That's not happening.
Exactly. And that's what people mistook. And just like Tyrone said, like Mike said, he wanted to have at least 30 rushes a game. And I think people kind of mistook that quote. And I even admit, for me from the year before, mistaking that quote when he said that he wants to run the ball more. And then, we see last year that, the scheme, granted the running back coach was out at the beginning of the season, but We saw the scheme kind of messed up. We didn't see, and even late in the season when he came back, we just saw, this weird, play calls from Mike, questionable play calls about how he was using Tony Pollard and even Rico at the same time. We didn't see enough of Rico. So, he's like you mentioned, he wants to run the ball more, but actually, like you said, just actually set up the run. So that way we can actually be more effective in the run game. But like you said, just playing 30 rushes a game. Okay, it's not working. Okay, we have no run game. Like
right,
exactly.
It's
for it to be effective, not just running the ball.
Exactly. And if y'all look at the numbers, we were in all this year, besides maybe a few games, we were in between 25 to 30 rushes. So Mike wants to do between 25 to 30 rushes a game. But in order to do that, we got to be able to run the ball, because if you're not running, if we had to be able to run, and we weren't able to run when we needed to run.
Right.
We weren't able to run when we needed to run, when we needed to pick this up, when everybody knew we were going to run, we could not run the ball, right? Exactly. And so those are issues that we have to resolve. But in no way is Mike McCarthy going to turn into a run-first coordinator, because that's just not who he is. I'll also say this. We did bring in an offensive coordinator from Boston College. I think his name is Steve Shimko or something like that. Mm. And he was offensive coordinator for Boston College last year, and they were putting up crazy amount of rushing yards. So I think they brought him in to come and help us structure this run game, because obviously you've got people like I do think that Solari and Jeff Blasco, the scheme was a little bit off. It was a mix of a little bit outdated, because we could have more creative run scheme, but it was also, we didn't have the personnel. We were trying to run a power run scheme. We didn't have the personnel to run that. Not the running back, not the offensive line. You've got to have big, strong guys up front to run power run scheme who could literally push off the ball and down block. We didn't have that in Tyler Biadasz. Zach Martin was struggling. We only had Tyler Smith. That was the only one. Tyron Smith is not run blocking like that no more, because we got to keep him protected. So that's the issue. Talk about being nice. It was trash. It was trash because we didn't have the personnel. And the reason I see it, and I will say this, when coaches say, I'm gonna use good coaches, we use we fit the personnel to our scheme. It's players over scheme. It's bullshit. That's what I figured out now. That's bullshit. Yeah. You're going to run the scheme that you want to run, and you're going to get the players that fit the scheme. That's how it works in the NFL. So it's like, they may use you this year, but next year you out. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because they have a certain way they want to play. And I think that there's a certain way, honestly, in Dallas, we need to play. That finesse outside zone scheme is not going to work. Right. Especially not against San Fran. It's not going to work. And some of these change it up. Right, and some of these tougher teams are playing this year, not just San Fran. I think we have the Ravens. The Ravens is not going to work. That finesse outside zone with those linebackers. Good luck. We saw what Fred Warner was doing. Fred Warner was literally run blitzing. And when we played San Fran, he was run blitzing us right off the middle. Tyler Biadasz, he was getting so fast to the backfield. Tyler Biadasz was barely out of his stance. Exactly. It's not going to work. We got to be able to push off the ball and run straight at Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Because if we do that and we have Cooper Beebe, what he said, dirty players, Fred Warner's going to think twice before he's trying to run to the backfield. But because he knew we were soft in the middle, he wasn't scared at all. He's like, I'm going to blow this up all game. And that's one thing that I love, the fact that we haven't added them yet, but they're saying that the Cooper's going to probably most likely be the starting center. So, and I know, and I guess what I was mentioning earlier about us having this much time before training camp, so like these guys can actually decide what position they're going to be playing. And like you said, talk to Solari, and try to decide what scheme he wants to implement, because, look, and not saying he has a position sewed up, but Guyton at left tackle, and that's what I love that they went on this O-line, because there's going to be so much competition. Like, shout out to Law Nation. I watched this video earlier, and just listening to him mention all the names, and I'm sure everyone's familiar or aware with all the guys that we have. For Guyton, we just picked up. Tyler Smith is still in play. I mean, they said he's going to stay at guard, but you never know what kind of need we're going to have. But Awesome Richards, Tyler Bass,
Chuma Edoga, they resign. He's a vet, but he's going to be there to be able to short the line in case some of these guys aren't ready just yet. Hoffman, competing with BB, potentially for the center position. But it's just amazing that, like you said, for them to go in this, because we were already stressed about, well, let's go. It just kind of brings a little cringe, just a little bit to my heart when I hear Steven talk about, well, let's go in ball. Even being
let's
in
go
the
in ball counter days. Y'all go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for them to even still
Y'all
be mentioned at this point, it's just kind of like you said, just wash it clean at this point. You said just kind of, it's kind of reminding me of a car. You know what I'm saying? Different parts of the car. It's an older car. You keep doing these little tweaks in the car. You fix the tires. You know what I'm saying? You fix the engine. You fix this. You fix that. But it's still going to be an older car. But you still want to keep doing that work on that old beat down car? Do you just want to wash your hands of it, just kind of clear it out, and just, like you said, one by one, you get these new pieces that you kind of get the chemistry together.
Exactly, get the chemistry together.
Yeah, figure out where you want these guys started at.
Think what the youth, is gonna do for our offensive line. They just can move better. They don't have the injuries.
Right.
They have a different love of the game. They ain't been playing the game for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's new, it's fresh. That's why I like what we're doing, because it's like, it's new, we're young, we're fresh. Think about what the Packers just did. They were the youngest playoff team, but look what they were able to accomplish, because these guys want it. They're hungry. They want it for real. And I'm not saying vets don't want it, because I'm sure the vets last year did want it to some degree, but some of them, they don't even have the physical capability. They're maxed out. They've hit their ceiling. That's how we saw them last year, about as good as they're going to get.
Exactly.
And it was just time to renew. It's time to renew. It was time, especially in the offensive line. There's just certain positions that you need. It's better to roll with the young guys. Now, quarterback, no, because the quarterback gets better with time. He ages like wine, right? With time, he gets better and better and better. But when you have positions like the offensive line, cornerback, running back, you can even say, in a sense, wide receivers, like, you kind of want to get younger at these positions if you can.
Yeah. Because
there's just a different, like I put, and shout out to Dwayne Brown. He sent me a cash app. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate you so much for donating. But, I was talking online about, or on X about Gilly, because I had said in the offseason, I said we should bring Gilly or J. Lou back, one of them. Because I was like, I don't want to just go in there with no veterans.
Right.
But we brought J. Lou back. J. Lou signed back for a couple of dollars. He's going to be here. We already know Stephen Jones is going to make sure he stays here on the roster.
Yeah.
So, and it's not that I don't like Gilly. I like Gilly as a mentor. I like Gilly for what he gave to us. But I just don't think that what I saw from Gilly gave me enough last year for me to say, okay, I don't want to see Izzy McQuamu. I don't want to see, who else was it?
Nation,
Izzy McQuamu or Eric Scott. I'm out on Nation. I think he is.
She said
McQuamu.
I hear you.
Eric Scott, Kalen Carson. Like, this is what I want fans to think about. Did we put Diggs into the fire as a rookie, or did we sit him on the bench?
Right.
Did we put DeRon Bland? Didn't we have to? Now, he played because of injury, but didn't we put him into the fire as a rookie?
Yeah.
And guess what? The very next year, what was they both? What was Trayvon Diggs next year? All pro.
Their interception. Yeah.
What was DeRon Bland next year? All pro. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Led the league in interceptions.
They need the experience. They need the experience. And if Gilly comes, he's going to start. Period. It's not a question. Unless Gilly says, okay, I want to be a backup. But I doubt he's gonna say that. And I just feel like there's guys that have just been cooking on the bench. I really believe in Izzy McQuamu. Like, this is a guy, I don't know if this audience knows, but this is a guy who literally, he was told a couple of days before playoffs, hey, you're starting. A couple of days before playoffs, hey, you're starting. Out of nowhere. So this is what I'm saying. Like, that is talent. That is talent. If we don't play him this year, he's gone. I honestly think if he's not, he's going to be cut.
I don't think if he don't stand out in camp, I think, and like you mentioned earlier about it being.
Right?
I think this is going to be the year of, like we just talked about before, about starting fresh and new. Like I think some of these young guys are feeling it. You know, seeing some of these new draft picks come in, this is going to be the year that these guys, like, I mean, I don't want to say it's obvious, but you know, because we never know who the Cowboys are really going to go, you know, really go with. But this is going to be a year where these young guys have to get it together and be able to really show what they're about. Because, like you mentioned, like the Cowboys are about their draft picks. And they do keep some of the older guys around, but are they really going to keep a pick from 2019, 2020 over a guy who they bring in, excuse me, for 2024?
Hold on, man. He said, "Are you scared to lose him?" Yeah, I am. This is the difference between Star and y'all. I believe in the young guys, and I want the young guys to have the opportunity. We never allow the young guys to have the opportunity, and then they leave here, they go somewhere else, and then they're playing in NFC championships or Super Bowls. Like, I want them to have an opportunity. He's never had the opportunity. The one time we did see him, he played well. Eric Scott, he had a great camp. Then he got in the preseason and looked weird. But who knows what he's got? Who knows what Kalen Carson's got? But those guys are going to be effectively on the bench, sitting behind Gilly, which we know Gilly can only play a certain type of wide receiver. You feel me? Like, Gilly only had 2 games of remembrance last year, the Seahawks game and the second Eagles game. And in the Seahawks game, y'all act like we weren't fighting to the death to win that game. Right. Like, so regardless of, okay, he went on DK and stopped the bleeding, they still put up 35 plus points. And what y'all saying is he got beat out. He did not get beat out. Let me tell you something. Izzy McQuamu has been in the doghouse with Al Harris. That's what it's really been. Or one of the assistant DP coaches. That's why he hasn't been on the field. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with talent. Izzy's got the talent. We saw it with our own 2 eyes. Like, he's got the talent. He's got the dog in him to rise to the occasion. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I know y'all don't care, but I was pissed when Connor McGovern left, because I'm like, that was another guard that we developed. We played him out of position the whole time. Now he's going over to another team where he's playing very well, and then they're moving him to center this year. Yeah. So that's all I'm trying to say. I just want to see them. Like, if we're going to draft these young guys, can we just see them play a couple of games? Right. But if Gilly comes, Izzy McQuamu has no help. I'm just, because he's going to get cut. Nashawn Wright's going to get cut for sure. And then you're looking at, I don't care about the rest of them, like the Peyton Henry shots or whatever. But I know you don't care that McGovern left. But McGovern probably, if we had been able to actually pay him, we wouldn't even have needed to keep Zach Martin. Yeah. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, I want to talk about.
Let's get to these draft grades. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about the linebacker room. We kind of talked about the receivers coming up, the running back room, and I just want to talk about the linebackers real quick before we hop off here, because going essentially from a drought in the linebacker room last year. So this year, they win in the draft. As we know, in our 3rd round pick, they pick up Maris Rufal, I believe that's how you say his name. And also, like I said, I didn't do a deep dive just yet, but seeing some of the undrafted free agents we picked up, I think in between 4 and 5 linebackers. I'm not sure.
We picked up a lot of linebackers. Now, Connor was not trash. We played him out of position. He is a right guard center. We never played him in center, and then we never played him at right guard because of Zach Martin. So he was forced to learn left guard, at which he is good at that. He's serviceable at that position, but that's not his true position. Like, we play players out of position the whole time. So it's not his fault that
because we have some of those stars in front of them. Like you mentioned earlier, we have those stars
in front of him. So
they'd rather play, so they're switching up the young guy's position instead of, because they're having the veteran they're allowing the veteran to play their position and then trying to switch up the position of the younger guy.
Yeah, but to your point, sis, we did add a lot of. We added like 2. We added Maris. Then we signed Damian Wilson, who's a veteran, obviously.
Yeah,
he used to play for the Cowboys. Then we added 2 more linebackers in the undrafted free agents. I believe I have to look up. I don't know their names. Oh, Eric Kendricks, obviously. We added a lot of linebackers. And what was interesting was that Scott McCurley said that this year that is their goal to add in as much linebackers as possible. Because what he was explaining is that last year, like, we really did unexpectedly get caught up by injury.
Right.
And I'm like, you're right. You know, they weren't expecting Leighton Vander Esch and DeMarvion Overshown to go down. When they cut Harper, they cut Harper because I forgot who we added. It was like the team decided to go with, I think, more offensive linemen than linebackers or something like that. Something happened, but they were expecting Harper to come right back to the practice squad. Of course, that didn't happen.
Right, he got picked right up.
Right, he got picked right up on waivers. Right. Yeah. So we added a crap ton of linebackers. I'm trying to see if I can find the names of the guys. I have not watched film on them, so I don't know at all what they're about. But let me see.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown, we talked about that a little bit earlier. He said we added linebackers but one running back. And I'm with you. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I wish we could have drafted another running back, but we did pick up an undrafted running back in Nathaniel Pete. And we picked up Royce Freeman earlier in the offseason. And I thought, now, honestly, I'm going to say, I wish he would have just went ahead and did the Zeke thing and just not even worry about Royce Freeman. But, he could be a camp body. He could show out. Like Star mentioned, I haven't had a chance to look at his film myself. Like she mentioned, he could be, a good piece, and my first thought was maybe just like another Ronald Jones signing. But, he may be able to add something. Like, say, he actually may be able to a power back. And, instead of just being like a finesse back, we have Rico Dowdle, who is necessarily a power back, but also having Hunter Lipke and Deuce. They're saying those are guys who can't really, who can't really pound the defense. Those are guys who can break down the defense.
Right. Those are change of pace guys.
Exactly. So just adding Zeke, to the room, adding Royce Freeman, isn't necessarily, like I said, isn't necessarily a full on power back, but someone who, who could, be different, someone like, and I think it just goes along with the, kind of their plan, just beefing up the offensive line as opposed to beefing up the running back room. You know what I'm saying? Why not spend the money? And actually, speaking of that, which is actually may actually give a, just kind of clue what they may do in the future. Like Stephen Jones, I'm sure you caught this too, Star, but Stephen Jones mentioned in one of the press conferences that. But what they like to do is they like bringing in younger guys on the O-line. So they don't want to pay. I think they mentioned about. I think last year, a couple of years ago, they didn't want to pay 3 linemen top dollar at the same time. They said they learned that lesson. So I don't know, how soon they're going to have to pay Tyler Smith, but I'm pretty sure Terrence Steele, if he caught that, I'm sure this is going to be his final contract. I'm not sure they're going to pick up again. I'm sure it probably has something to do with the injury as well too. But I'm sure it's maybe the last contract of Terrence Steele. I'm sure Zach Martin is going to be gone. So
so they double. Yeah, I think Jerry said, "Why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is."
Right.
Jerry is stupid, but he right. Like, these are offensive linemen is such a very much need in the NFL. Yeah. And when you have your choice to load up on offensive line for cheap, you do it. Point blank, period. Because again, when you have holes in the offensive line, if you don't have the proper backups, like, we need to thank God that TJ Bass is a backup, because anywhere else, this guy is a starter.
Facts.
He's a starter. You know what I'm saying? Who knows the gains that Austin Richards has made? So it's just, you gotta load up. You gotta load up, because these are positions where you always have to keep your quarterback protected. You do. Why you think the Chiefs and the Bengals, everybody, they keep trying to rebuild their offensive lines every damn year? Because you need to. Because when you have a franchise quarterback, the most important thing is to give him time. He can elevate he don't need all pros at every position. He doesn't need that. What he needs is time to throw the dang ball.
Right.
So, exactly. And what he needs is a reliable running game, so that when he's shaky, or when the game flow is just off, or whatever the hell, you have somebody you have something to rely on.
Right. So, and an extra layer of pass protection, which is another reason why I'm kind of glad they brought back
another
Zeke.
thing, Zeke, pass protection.
Yeah, very much so.
Like, that's huge. Royce Freeman, pass protection. You need guys who can pass protect. You need guys who can run block.
Right.
Like, there's things we need, but there's the two linebackers that we added is Jason Johnson from UCF, that's University of Central Florida,
Okay.
And then Brock Morgensen is a linebacker from out of South Dakota. Okay. So those are 2 linebackers that we added.
So that's about 5 linebackers now. So it's the 2 undrafted, and then Eric Kendricks and Wilson.
Yeah, you got 2 undrafted: Eric Kendricks, DeMarvion Overshown, Maris Leafau, Damian Wilson, and then Michael Parsons part-time. Right. So we clearly learned our lesson. Oh, yeah. So we clearly learned our lesson. You need linebackers to win games.
Right.
You need linebackers.
Right.
You need linebackers to win games.
Yeah. And speaking, just before we get out of here, speaking on our last, I think the 7th pick was, I'm glad we actually picked up a DT, defensive tackle. Let me see. Justin. Let me see.
Oh yeah, Justin Rogers.
Yeah, Justin Rogers. Yeah.
Where is he from? Justin Rogers.
Auburn.
Right, J Money. Thank you, Zim. He's from Auburn, and then also we picked up Denzel Daxon. He's an undrafted free agent, and we picked him.
Defensive tackle.
Yes, we picked him up from Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, University of Illinois. He kind of got overshadowed because, of course, they had Drazon Newton over there, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's a true one tech. Y'all can go to my X page if you're watching me on X. I did put some film of Denzel Daxon and Justin Rogers up. But also, if y'all follow Vach did a breakdown of Justin Rogers as well. So y'all can take a look at that. What's up, Eastside Herald, number 1 Cowboys fan?
Right.
It's our number 1 Cowboys fan. Man, he go hard. He go hard for us. Love you, Eastside. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate you, man. Always.
But anyway, let's quickly get into these grades because we're supposed to be grading. I almost got to go in a minute, but we gonna.
I figured we just kind of spitball. Just talk about what we like about the draft picks. Honestly, like I'll say I'll just do an overall grade. You know what I'm saying? Just overall because like I said, there was some surprise where I didn't expect this first to pick up an edge. But just hearing your reasons earlier, and I wasn't aware that D-Law was on his last year of his contract. So just like you said, just kind of getting that, just like a safety net, essentially for the position. So just kind of rethinking that, and just other businesses that you also picked up as well. Like I said, just solidifying a little bit more of the linebacker room. And saying pick up, like I said, solidifying the O-line as well, going in heavy on the O-line. I guess I'll give a B as far as my overall.
A B. Yeah, that's where most people have had to draft a B.
I've seen that too, guys. Like I said, we picked up very key pieces that I think we needed. Like I said, fill some holes because, of course, we knew going into that we wouldn't be able to fill up all these holes that we had. But just seeing the pieces that we picked up, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily excited for the Cowboys year in general as far as the league and where they'll be at the end of the season, but I am definitely excited to see the young guys that they picked up, and also like I said, to kind of dive a little bit deeper in the undrafted class to see how much of impact that these guys can have, not just this year but also going forward. It makes me a little bit more excited to see what I think someone mentioned earlier, Zim. Thank you, Zim, for not just bringing in big guys, and linebackers like that, but also bringing in a couple of DTs and really just kind of hopefully we'll be able to see a different revamp of this defense. Just seeing something a little bit different, something that could work. Like you said, something just a little bit fresher with these young guys coming in, just seeing how they can work together and just seeing hopefully how and also these coaches as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not all new, but just hopefully just seeing the chemistry that these new pieces on each level, the coaches, the young guys coming in, and also just seeing what these guys can do together. So yeah, I think my overall grade will probably be a B on the draft.
And y'all put in the chats what's y'all's grade. Shout out to Dwayne. He gave us. He said Morganson is 6'2", 245 pounds. Wow. So we're getting true linebacker.
Yeah. And big guys in general.
The days of finesse and running safeties and running 600 safeties on the field. Those days are over. Thank God. Thank you, God. But ultimately, I gave the draft an A. And I give it an A because although Tyler Guyton is a little bit, to me, Tyler Guyton is not as raw as people are making him seem.
Right.
He does have lunging issues. Yes, he does. That comes from setting too high, not getting into your base or your squat good enough. So he has those issues, but that in his hands where he sometimes won't have his hands high enough and punch and stuff like that to where a defensive player like rip moves. Like one of the games I watched on him, he was getting rip moved a lot, and it was simple fact of him lunging, him not having his hands in the right place. But even with that, his feet are NFL pro ready. He's a very cerebral player. When I say cerebral, I mean he easily picks up stunts. He easily picks up blitz. I didn't see him have a mental lapse one time. Has the ability to mirror. Looks to bulldoze in the run game. He said he has a meanness and nastiness to him, and I think so too. There are content creators that don't think that he's really that great at run blocking right now. I think that he's better than most, and I think that when I listen to the scout, y'all can check it on Cowboys.com. Mitch LaPointe talked about how they chose Tyler Guyton, and they wanted him over Marius Mims because they're like, Guyton is way more refined in the run game. So they don't see the scouts, the coaching staff does not see his run blocking as an issue like some content creators do, but that's okay. I mean, people have different opinions on the player, but I gave that pick a solid B. Then you move into round 2. Marshawn Nealon looks like for the value. I also give that pick a solid B. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a good choice, good value. Then you move into Marius Leofau. I'm going to give that pick. He was one of my draft pet cats. I'm going to give that an A because I said we needed to get a Mike linebacker in here. Because obviously we're renting Eric Kendricks. And we need somebody to come in that he can mentor that's going to be ready to hit the ground running. So I give that pick an A. You know, I give Cooper Beebe A++++++. Right. That's my number one guy. Cooper Beebe is, I mean, I don't know how much I can say it. He probably was the most versatile lineman in the draft. He's the nastiest guard in the draft, or lineman, period. Nastiest old lineman in the draft. Literally teaches classes and seminars for Duke Manyweather, the O-line guy. So he's literally the pinnacle of pro-ready guard center that you can get. That's about as pro-ready as you can get in him. So A++. Then you move into, who was the next pick?
Kalen Carson.
Kalen Carson. I said we needed, didn't I say at the beginning of this offseason we needed to get a corner? I said
you did say because we, like you said, you mentioned we're not sure how Diggs is going to look going to next season.
Yeah, I said we're not. Now, I do think that Diggs is going to be ready game 1, right? He's going to be ready game 1.
Right.
I have firm belief of that because he's further removed from his injury than, say, the Michael Gallups and the Terrence Steele was.
Right.
But still, you need insurance, right? So I was like, we need a corner because I'm not going in with Nashawn Wright. You know what I'm saying? Right. And Kalen,
and not even Eric Scott, because like you said, we have
Eric Scott. So it's like we definitely needed to go ahead and get us a corner. I like the corner that we picked. I didn't watch film on him before, but I think based on the value, I give that another B or B+ type of pick.
Yeah, shout out to the DMV. Hey, shout out to the DMV too, man. DMV guy.
DMV. Shout out to DMV guys. And then you move into the last 2 picks, which those are 7th round picks, guys. But Justin Rogers and Nathan Thomas, I'm fine with those picks. Yes. Triple down on offensive linemen, and they said they're going to move Thomas to guard. Right. And then you got a defensive tackle, which I like what I've seen from Justin Rogers. I still think we need to get a veteran defensive tackle, obviously.
Facts.
But I think he can do, him and Denzel Jackson, from what I've seen on film, they can do what Zim is going to ask them to do, which is just literally stand up here in the middle and take up blocks.
Right.
So
they
can do that. They're not pass rushing or anything like that. They literally just have to stand their ground and take up blocks. So overall, because of that, I give the draft an A. Obviously, Cooper Beebe and Marius Leofau tipped it for me. I said after we picked them up, I said, listen, I don't care who we get. At the end of the draft, I said, I don't care.
Right.
Those are special teams, development player. I do not care at all. I was
Yeah,
like,
and I've been hearing that, and now that you mentioned, I've been hearing that a lot with these guys that they picked up this year. That's going to be huge for them, of course, with the rule change and things like that, and the specific players that actually going to make a difference in the kickoff rule changes. But like you mentioned, or just like that, like I've been hearing that a lot with the guys that we picked up. They're going to be special, and actually not just with them being implemental in the special team game. They're actually going to be able to get more reps in the special team, so they actually get them more game ready for games, hopefully down the line, and hopefully.
Yep.
I just really hope that these guys can make an impact just for this season, and not solely depend on these guys to make an impact, but just seeing how much of an impact that they can make with these new coaches coming in. And hopefully that'll give them just a little bit of a revamp, and hopefully it can just be something that can go forward with this team. I don't want to just be like a 1 year type thing, or just let's just see if this can work.
I definitely
you know what I'm saying?
I want to build off of what we're establishing, and if the coaches, what's up, David? Eastside, he said he gives their draft a fee. I don't remember who y'all drafted at all, but y'all did. I mean, you added Stephon Diggs, so I'm not gonna say y'all did. I do think y'all did kill the offseason. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't hate on that. I can't hate on that.
I do think y'all
killed. But hey, y'all got Stephon Diggs. I ain't gonna lie.
We still gonna beat y'all when we play y'all this year, but I do think that y'all did a great job. I think CJ Stroud with all them damn weapons, he gonna ball out most likely. But I think but I think the draft, I think we're establishing our identity, and I do think that the coaches, if the coaches do their jobs, Mike will get extended, Zimmer will get extended,
right?
It'll be fine. But obviously you cannot have what happened to us versus Green Bay ever again. You get one past Mike McCarthy to do that, you're not going to get another one.
Exactly.
You're not going to get another one under any circumstances. So, people are upset about the 1 year deals. But I'm like, listen, I'm fine with the 1 year deals because everybody is like, fight to the damn finish. There's no guarantees. Fight to the finish. I'm fine with that.
Exactly.
With the coaches. Now, with my players, I need Dak to get extended. I need CD to get extended. I need Micah Parsons to get extended.
Right.
Dak and CD this season. Michael Parsons, you can do next season if that's what you want to do. But Dak and CD, I need them to get extended, and I need them to get extended quickly. And I think they will. They'll get extended this summer. It'll be fine. But it's 8:15. Need to hop off. But thank you to Mickey. You have any final words?
No. I feel you, Star. Like you mentioned. Hopefully, they'll be able to take all the philosophy they're going into this year forward. Hopefully, be able to build some kind of chemistry overall with the team. But like Star said, before we get out of here, make sure you guys give us a like, give us a share on all platforms. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. Every Wednesday, as you guys always do. Hopefully next week, like I said, things are going to be able to start going. Football season, is kicking off just a little bit more, y'all.
Football is here. I think next week the rookies get in town and
stuff
like that. So stuff is. We finally back to football.
We
finally back to football.
Back, y'all. Before we get
Dak didn't get traded to the Raiders, like everybody kept saying. But anyway,
but Michael Gallup went over there. Congrats to Michael Gallup on your new job.
Shout out to Michael Gallup.
Right.
It'll be fun to see what he does over there. Hopefully he can restore himself. MG is a good player. I think the MCL tear or ACL tear just kind of tore up his confidence. Maybe he can get it back in a new environment. But anyway, thank you to everybody tonight.
Yes, thank you, Star. Appreciate you joining me, man.
Thank you, Mickey. We'll see you guys next week.
Yes, thank you guys for your time. We'll catch y'all later.